voice heard because I feel it as an urgent need. So yeah, that's why.
I don't know.
Uh, basically letting know the viewers who I really am and not who I am not. So, uh, due to how everyone seems to be betraying me in such a negative light as of late, I feel that it's only fair that my voice gets out there to give a more accurate image of myself. Well, for me, I'm more of that was the way I was brought up. I was raised more as a person full of anger, honor and integrity. Uh, Not only that, originally, whether it was my father, my mom, or anyone really in my family, any of my uh, superiors, and mainly ones who were older than me, they all basically rose me to have respect, honesty, all those things a noble person is supposed to have. Uh, of course, due to one of my mental and my main mental disability, it's quite easy for me to be deceived, unfortunately. Uh, well, the main reason this all even transpired was basically due to the love that I felt that was equally shared between me and Gypsy Blanchard. However, I've learned that as of late that she may have just been using me, which is sad because I felt it was much more real than that at the time. Actually, as for the illnesses part, I found that out almost shortly after me and her first started talking on Facebook, which went from a Christian dating site known as ChristianDatingForFree.com, and we were on there for maybe a few days, and then went from there to next thing you know, Facebook, and it's really weird because I went from just trying to get to know her on one side to being willing to pretty much open myself up like a full open book to where once we got to the other one, and I'm still confused on why that happened that way, but it did. And when it happened that way, I almost instantly learned about the medications. Of course, I learned that not all of them are actually fully what she was actually supposed to be taking. Most of them are all just stuff that her mom was forcing her to take that was by far not needed. Um, I did feel as if Gypsy was going through trauma, whether it was the abuse with medication or the abuse of being forced to be staying in a chair, or even the abuse of her being stuck in a room for so long because her mom would be doing things in a physical abusive way, like chaining her to the bed, or even other physical abuse, like her being beaten with really anything her mom could find. And all this stuff I felt shouldn't transpire. I felt like as if, unfortunately, I didn't think anyone would come to her call. And if she tried to go to the police, they would have, due to the way that her mom was making her betray to look as, she would have basically looked as a like a lunatic that no one would believe due to what her mom would be putting in everyone else's head. So she felt like it was a non-escapable path upon it, and she needed someone to understand her enough to be willing to basically risk their life for her, which is unfortunate that that had to go the way it did because originally I wanted to just run away with her, but she kept on persisting on this alternative thing that really didn't seem to pan out in the way that it never was obviously meant to. Yeah. Yep. Since she had warned me that she's tried it twice before, and she's only mentioned one of those times in the media. The other, apparently, she almost got close to killing her mother, but however, she couldn't do it. Uh, she was attempting to do it mainly for someone that she had an infatuation with, and well, she found out later that it was just infatuation, but yet the person keeps using her to this day. So yeah, it's very sad. Well, it's unfortunate because it's the way that she was brought up. She was brought up to lie and lie and lie and lie and lie. She was brought up to basically uh, play the victim role. That's the way she was brought up. She's only doing what she was taught. Believe me, she was brought up in a much more better uh, environment, a much more better people around her. Not just her mom. I was around her. I was holding, pretty much holding her down for who she could really be. I can almost guarantee she would have never asked me that dreadful question. A severely unfortunate situation because Even now, even after she basically is admitting to everyone in the media that she was basically using me to get rid of her mother, which is very, very, very not only uh, evil thing to even admit right on national television, which I still to this day, well, I kind of wish he would have admitted earlier because, well, I was mainly the one person who was trying to make her a better person while her mom was trying to keep her the way that she was. And that's part of the reason why now I feel it's more of a slap in the face. Because, yeah, it's one of those situations where you feel that you have done all you could for the person, and if the person doesn't want to feel appreciation towards you for all you've tried to do for them, then I guess it's one of those stones you gotta throw into the water and move forward, unfortunately. You make it as if loosen the load that you're having to hold upon. It's basically an analogy. It's basically what I'm using. Just trying the best I can to heal from the situation, and from everything I have been trying to get over and get through. It's been a rough road. I will not deny it has not been. It has, uh, but I know that within time always heals. So I'm hopeful that it will. I'm. That's the thing with me is that she, I feel, has actually. It's sad. It's so sad. She, yes, maybe about the same amount I was maybe trying to attend to get. I'm still trying to get 15, and that's where I still stand. I'm still trying to get that. I would have been happy if me and her would have gotten the same exact amount of time. I'm not one of those people where I'm going to be trying to wish her a life sentence or any crap like that, like she did to me. I'm not a conniving person like that. That's just not in my blood. It's not in my genetics. It's not who I am. That's part of the reason why when she does what she does, I can't blame her. I can only understand that that's the way she was brought up. But me personally, if we would have both gotten 15, I would have felt it was fair. Since she's gotten 10 and I'm still trying to at least get 15, uh, really, yeah, exactly. It's a pretty hard road to get to that point, but God willing, that should for sure happen. Uh, well, there's two parts of it. One, I was planning on using my mental disability, which is clearly documented from multiple psychiatrists and uh, ones who have studied psychology. So really, I mean, I have a therapist from when I was 15 years old who said because they had family member who was one with Asperger's syndrome, they were the first ones who mentioned when I was 15 years old that I had that and I didn't have the more form of that severe of autism. I didn't have that, and I didn't have anything less either. So really, with that being said, um, I learned of that term, and then I ended up having to look it up to learn more about certain patterns and everything else. And once I learned about it, I started noticing things about myself that did match in with it. And then the next time it happened was in 2009 when I was trying to receive Social Security benefits from SSI. And I was accepted on that too because the psychiatrist that the state hired of Wisconsin could not find anything of me faking it or anything else because it was just really how I was. And uh, that's two of them. And then you move forward to 2015. Uh, and I believe it was December of that year, I ended up seeing another doctor, and then move forward in 2016, see another one. So they all of them have admitted I have it, but the prosecution's defense is trying to make it seem as if I only have level one when I actually have level two, which requires some supervision, not heavy supervision, just enough to where they're making sure I'm not getting into any trouble, basically. Which now I understand that now when it's been a bit too late. The second one would be uh, basically manipulation. The second reason would be manipulation, because I will not deny it because she's done it for so long to the entire public, and that's part of the reason why the public is having a hard time believing what she's saying. She's was obviously trained by the very best before her mom unfortunately passed away. Uh, Her mom taught her very well how to basically master manipulation, master lying, master deceiving great audiences of people, and because of it, She knows what she's doing when she lies. Unfortunately, she's very, very good at it to the point where people won't know that she's lying to them just because she can do it without any conscience at all, which to this day boggles my mind. But because of that master of manipulation that she is able to do, she had no problems manipulating me into the situation. I wish I would have known it was more manipulation than love, because if I would have known that, I probably wouldn't have been in the situation I'm in, and I probably wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation. But yeah, the only regret I have is basically not seeing the signs that stuff was not in a good light test unfold. That's basically what I have mainly regrets of. The only thing I don't regret is getting her out of that situation. I regret, however, the way that I had to get her out of the situation, but I don't regret getting her out of it. If I would have been able to run away with her, I wouldn't have any regrets at all. But due to me finding out, well, that she was using me, I maybe do regret putting my heart out there, but in another way, I don't regret it only because it has made me a stronger person. As they always say, no pain, no gain. So, yeah, it has made me a stronger person. I will say, however, that when it comes to um, the way I feel about her now, I still love her to this day. That's never going to change. I will always love her. I promised her that I would never change. I'd always unconditionally love her. I always will. Um, if she wanted to be friends with me, I'd be fine with it. If she didn't, then I'm fine with it too. I'm I'm one of them type of people where I try to be as happy-go-lucky as possible. I try not to let everything bother me too easily. However, being in a place like I am, it's not easy to do. And well, even people in here ask how I stay so positive. I think for one, my mom's always told me before I ended up coming down here to Springfield and got stuck down here like I am now. She's always been telling me all the times that she was video visiting me up in Wisconsin that she's strong like I am and I can handle this and I'll be fine. And she basically was giving me the support I never had throughout almost my entire life. That emotional support I never thought I'd ever receive from her. So, yeah, that, and then you also have the support of my father, which to this day I still talk to every once in a while. So, uh, every little support I've gotten has been able to keep me from basically losing my mind, which every little support I have, I definitely appreciate. And I never take anything for granted, no matter how it comes in its form. I never do, because I know that every day you never know if you'll be gone the next. It has to be one of those days where you take it as it comes and appreciate everything you can within that day, whether it's just living in general, and move forward. And that's the way I perceive it all. Yes, I basically promised her that I will always love her, and it's true, I do. I still love her. But however, I'm not in love with her since that's a little different. Due to what she's done, it has killed my romance that me and her had between each other. And that's mainly where I stand. I still love her, but I'm not in love with her. Well, I had it as no secret to her. I was basically like an open book to her. She knows that everything from little details, like whether it was her height. I mean, I've always been more fond of the shorter women. There's no secret to that. I've always been fond of the shorter ones just because that's just my preference. However, that along with everything else about her. Originally, obviously, she created these perfect personalities that would attract me to her and keep her basically to where she didn't have to worry about me being disinterested at some point. And she kept my attention creating all these things. And it's unfortunate because who knows if they're all real. Till this day, I'm not fully sure they even are. Nope. And I choose not to be due to court situations, since she's considered a witness now. No, no. Uh, well, the only thing I would really would tell her is that you might have betrayed me and turned your back on me, but that's not going to stop me from loving you. I'm always going to love you, whether you want to accept it or not. I'm always going to love you. Even if you don't want to accept that, that's your choice. But if you still want to keep our friendship, we can keep our friendship. I just don't want nothing any more damaging to get between us than what has already has transpired. If you don't want to be my friend, I'm perfectly okay with that. Just know though that no matter what happens, you'll always have someone that loves you, even if you never believe that you do. Basically, just let her know that she will always have someone who loves her. I might not be willing to the extreme that I was manipulated to at this point, but I still would be willing to do other things for her as long as they're much more smaller than what has happened, because I'm now in a more cautious position than I originally was before. And now I feel as if she needs to basically really think about what's going on more before she speaks, because even though she might not be able to get tried for any more charges and so forth, she's basically trying to do what she's trying to do for her public image, when really there are facts out there that aren't very good about her. And that's part of the reason why I only caution her with the way that she perceives herself to the public. Me, I'm just going to be my real self. I'm not going to try to perceive myself as someone I'm not. And if the public accepts me that way, they accept me that way. If they don't, well, I'll accept it as if I'm a nobody. That's totally fine with me. I'm humble as they get, so it doesn't bother me. Very well documented, whether it's through studies or even websites dedicated to it. I mean, there's uh, symptoms, I guess you would call, of the actual syndrome. That one of them, ironically, is being gullible to people's opinions, very easily, actually, in fact. And I've actually been gullible almost all my life. That is something I will admit. I have been gullible almost all my life. I I've slowly been getting more and more wise as I age, but um, it's a very slow process due to Asperger's. Since for me, the best way I can describe it is a learning disability. I was in special education while I was growing up, almost throughout my entire uh, high school, elementary, middle school, all those type of years. I was through a special education. Originally, they had me listed as a severe form of autism, meaning autism itself, and then they lowered it down to just being a higher functioning form, which is known as Asperger's syndrome. So, due to the intelligence of those with my disability, we can seem so normal, but yet we still have certain symptoms of it. Like, for example, if I get put under too much pressure, my mind can go blank and I won't know what to say, or other things of that nature. Yeah. I barely knew anything about that part of me until, well, what happened. I mean, the first time I was aware of it and it freaked me out was me being around 14, 15 years old. And I seen a glimpse of something in my eye and I didn't know what it was. It was just like a glimpse of something in my eye. And then I felt as if, what do you call it? A dreadful like feeling came upon me as if something wasn't right. And it was almost like whatever it was that I noticed in my eye, it was almost like something knowing and letting me know that I was to be aware of it being around. And at the time, it was just a dreadful feeling that I didn't understand because I was so young. But uh, I basically tried to get Gypsy to be willing to explore that part of me for me to understand it better without uh, letting it get out of control. And then she, instead of just explored it in a like conditioned way where it wouldn't be out of control, she ended up taking advantage of it. So uh, yeah, she ended up angering it more and more with basically provoking it. The only other thing I want to say is that I do uh, have my heart go out to all of Gypsy's family for what happened to their daughter or sister or aunt, and I wish this would have ended a much more less drastic way than it did. But just let everyone know that I appreciate this opportunity and thank you. Yep, thank you.